5 quarterbacks that you should target in drafts. And well, I'm always going to be the last guy that drafts a quarterback. Why? Because last season, think about this, 43 quarterbacks finished as a QB1 at least 1 week. What does that mean? Stream quarterbacks. And a guy who you can get really cheap is Phillip Rivers. So if you're in a 12-man league and he's ranked as QB 12, guess what? You can probably be the last guy that takes him. He's a guy who's super consistent, and I understand he's lost Hunter Henry, but I'm expecting big things from a guy like Mike Williams, who they drafted 7th overall last year. Super consistent, top 5 in yards the last 3 seasons. And the Chargers, well, don't sleep on the Chargers. Like, the Chargers are a legit team. That defense is going to be better. And Phillip Rivers, again, I understand he lost Hunter Henry, but I would bet this beer right now that Antonio Gates is going to be in a Chargers jersey coming back. Melvin Gordon's super solid out of the backfield, and they have a lot of weapons. Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, like, let's not forget these kind of guys. But, like, look at these stats, right? 4,515 yards. That was 2nd in the NFL last year. 28 touchdowns. He was QB8. He's a top 10 quarterback for the last 5 years, and he's never ranked inside of the top 10. Why? Because for some reason, people hate Phillip Rivers. I don't get it. I love me some Phillip Rivers. But, again, I'm going to try to be the last guy that takes a quarterback in my draft. So, if I miss on Phillip Rivers, the next guy that I'm going to look to target in my fantasy drafts is Matt Ryan. And then, again, I'm basing these rankings off of how I'm going to rank them in terms of priority, right? 2nd year with Steve Sarkisian. Matt Ryan really struggled his first year with Shanahan. Do you remember what he did in year 2? He was an MVP. Like, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Dude balled out, right? And right now you can get him as QB 13, and he's entering year 2 with Sarkisian. Now, I think Steve Sarkisian, I don't want to call him Jeff Fisher 2.0, but if he doesn't get the ball in Julio Jones' hands more, I'm going to call him Jeff Fisher 2.0. And I think this team is doing the right things offensively. They added Calvin Ridley in the draft, who I really like that at Alabama. They're going to get Julio Jones the ball more. Devonta Freeman, I think, is going to get it, just a little bit more impact. And then Tevin Coleman also out of the backfield. Mohamed Sanu, not a bad wide receiver 3. QB 15 last year, I get it. He was down from his MVP season. But look at those numbers. 4,944 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks. Like, it's there, guys. We've seen it. Matt Ryan, year 2. Hey, people are talking. Don't sleep on a guy like Matt Ryan. But I want to know from you guys, which quarterback are you going to target in drafts for fantasy football? If it's Phillip Rivers or Matt Ryan, because right now these guys are back-to-back in my rankings as well. And I want to know from you guys, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, which quarterback, better value in fantasy football for 2018? Okay, I missed on Phillip Rivers. I missed on Matt Ryan. Next quarterback I'm going to target is Derek Carr. The Raiders added a whole bunch of people this offseason. I cover the Raiders here at Chat Sports, Oakland Raiders, Raiders Report. Shout out to that show. You guys can find that on YouTube. That's my humble plug there, right? So, Derek Carr is a guy who was an MVP candidate in 2016 before he got hurt. In 2015 and 2016, 60 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. That's insane, right? Now you add a guy who I think, like Jordy Nelson, is going to help out Amari Cooper a bunch grow. I don't really like Martavis from a fantasy standpoint, but the dude's going to be able to stretch the field, right? Like, he's going to open up holes. Marshawn Lynch really started to pound the ball well, and I think defenses are going to have to respect the run game a little bit with a guy like John Gruden, who's already said he does want to run the rock. But Derek Carr has never thrown for over 4,000 yards. I get it. He's going to do it this year. He's going to throw for over 4,000 yards this year with the Raiders because I'm telling you guys, the offensive line wasn't that good. They struggled with drops. I think Amari Cooper's going to have a big year, and so is Derek Carr. He's a guy that I'm going to target. Before I get into my last 2 quarterback targets, if I missed on Derek Carr, Phillip Rivers, and Matt Ryan, word from our sponsor, Devore, and my girl, Jay.
All right, you guys, before we get back to Fantasy Football AF with Mitch, I've got to tell you about his beer sponsor, Devore. Beer drinkers, listen up. This is the app you need. You can now have everyday access to craft beer you can't get in your own area. A custom box of beer delivered directly to your door. You can sign up today at Devore.com, but make sure to use that promo code CHATSPORTS so you get $10 off your order, $20 or more.
Cheers to you, Jay. I'm going to miss you. Okay, I missed on Matt Ryan, I missed on Phillip Rivers, and I missed on Derek Carr. The next guy, target is Dak Prescott, right? He's entering year 3 as the Cowboys starting quarterback, and, well, year 1 was great, 23 touchdowns, 4 picks. Last year, a little bit more bumpy, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and I get it. No Dez, no Witten, right? Is there room for panic? Of course. Like, those guys are at least reliable targets. But I like Michael Gallup a lot coming out of Colorado State. I met Michael Gallup at the Fantasy Football Convention. Shout out to Michael. But then there's also guys like Cole Beasley who I think could get integrated a little bit more. I'm not crazy about Allen Hurns, but he's still an option. And, well, I don't know who's going to be the tight end there, but I think Dak is just going to be great because there's a guy named Ezekiel Elliott who's pretty freaking good. And last year, when Dak had Zeke, he was the quarterback 3. Think about that, right? So his rookie year, he was a top 5 QB. Why? Ezekiel Elliott. Quarterback 3 last year with Zeke in terms of fantasy points per game. Okay, guys, he's going to have Zeke this year. And a healthy Zeke and a Cowboys team, Dak's going to run the ball. I think Dak's a guy that we're sleeping on a lot because of, well, he had a down year. But a down year for Dak at QB 11, and right now for a guy who's going at like QB 19, yeah, I'll take that all day of the week. All right, my last guy, you missed on all 4 of those quarterbacks, is Marcus Mariota, right? I like Marcus Mariota from a fantasy football standpoint because, well, the dude can run. And shout out, there's no more Mike Mularkey, right? Like, praise the Lord, no more Mike Mularkey because that guy's offense was a bunch of malarkey. You got year 2 of Corey Davis, and now you got a guy like Dion Lewis stepping in who's going to be a guy that at least Mariota can check down the ball to. There's Delaney Walker. Again, Corey Davis. He's got options, right? And I think if this offense could just be a little bit more creative, that's something I'm really looking for. So, in 2017, though, 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, right? Not what I'm hoping for. And QB 18 in terms of fantasy points. Again, it's not that good, right? So, I'm hoping he can like relive some of his Ducks glory days and can just be a sleeper because there was times last year in 2016 fantasy football rankings, people had Mariota in their top 5 because the hype is there. Mariota is super talented. And in 2016, I mean, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. What if this is the year where he makes that step? He has options. Like Marcus Mariota, I think is super talented. And with his legs, that's where you're going to get the fantasy football value. But I know this is a fantasy football show. We talked about it, though, in the office the other day, and I want to know from you guys, right? Which quarterback is the better real-life quarterback? Type 1 for Dak Prescott and Type 2 for Marcus Mariota. Dak is a guy who's been a winner. Like, he's actually been pretty good, I think, and last year was a little bit struggly, but, I mean, they didn't have Tyron Smith. They didn't have some of these other guys, right? Then you look at Mariota, who, well, the Titans went to the playoffs last year, and they also beat the Chiefs. But I want to know from you guys, Dak Prescott or Marcus Mariota. Let me take a sip of beer because I'm about to choke. Yo, if you guys like IPAs, shout out to Bison Beatbox because that's a damn good beer. Like, that's laughably good. Okay, better quarterback, real life, Dak Prescott, Marcus Mariota. Now, I'm going to show you guys my top 5 quarterback targets for 2018. All right, Phillip Rivers is the first guy to target. Well, because he's QB 12. Matt Ryan's the second guy if I miss on Rivers. If I miss on both Ryan and Rivers, I look at Derek Carr. And then if I miss on those 3, it's a guy like Dak. And last but not least, it's Marcus Mariota. And if you guys miss on all 5 of those, maybe go with a guy like Tyrod Taylor. Because if he plays all 16 games, well, he's going to be a QB 12 because he did it for the Bills. And this team he's on for the Browns is much, much better.